We are recording.
I'm
Mr.
ready.
Mao. You are ready. You look ready. You look like
Yeah,
you're ready to go back to bed.
I'm in my bed right. I'm in a hotel room. I got they upgraded my a little flirting goes a long way. I got upgraded to a suite, but I think this suite is for people in wheelchairs because like all the hooks are low and like like the thing that when you shut your hotel room door and there's this little latch you put over the door so people can't
Oh
come
yeah,
in.
it's lower.
There's two. There's one up high and there's one up down low.
That's also not just for handicapped people, but also for little people. So
Well,
makes it better.
yes.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Prendamano.
That's right.
Yeah.
He'd still have to jump, but they usually bring like a little stoop that you can just stand on, because it's a nice hotel. I see. But
Even
wait, so
like
you're on the first floor then, right?
nope, sixth floor. I think
Wait, so there's a fire, there's an earthquake, the elevator breaks down, there's a terrorist attack, any reason. Everybody get down to the lobby, but you can't use the elevator. Steve in the sixth floor in his wheelchair rolls out like,
I think someone would have to carry me down if that was the
like
case.
what? They can't. They're always on the first floor. Like what the fuck?
So I was in a wheelchair in college because I
Yeah.
broke my feet. And one time there was a fire drill and they were banging on the door. They're like, Chris, like we're here to carry you down the stairs. And I was like, not in front of everyone. No, you're not.
Wow.
And they were like, I was like, let me burn. They're like, this could be a real fire. I don't care. Let me burn. I'm not, you're not carrying me
There was
down.
one casualty in the fire drill.
Because I was on the 12th floor. And I just kept
someone
screaming,
has to carry you down. Who was going to carry you down?
People at the front desk or at the RA or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know that I could carry you.
There's a bunch
Maybe
of
with
people.
adrenaline or something, but like I don't know that I could carry you 12 fucking stories now. Maybe I could. I'm pretty strong. But I guess you're pretty light. But like, I don't know. There's some people I'd be like,
no
man,
way. They were like, this is a big deal. Okay, then kick me out of school for not coming out of my room during a fire drill. That's
shitty. That's shitty. Anyways, well, good luck. And hopefully, well, at least you can run. So you're fine. Anyways, we're going to do this in 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge!
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the FratChat Podcast.
All young men like 3 things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcast and time. It's the FratChat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris CMO Moore. How's it going, Mr. Mo?
Oh, it's good. Just been working a lot. I haven't had a day off in a long time, so I'm very tired.
Man. I know, but it's coming, right? You in like 3 days? You have an off day?
My next day off is the next day that we record.
When is it? Saturday? Next Saturday?
Yeah.
No, Jesus, dude. Jesus. Well, a week. Oof.
I know. I just want to sleep in.
Ah, man, I hear you. Now I feel. And you're an hour behind me right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Austin right now.
Got it.
There's a lot of music, like live music in Austin, and there's a lot of like really bad comedy shows too. Everyone's like, "Hey, do you like coffee and comedy?" I'm like, it could be like 10 o'clock p.m. Like,
wait,
no, and yes.
Julie's in Austin right now.
Is she really?
For a bachelorette. She just flew in on Thursday night.
Is she on the Dirty Six going bar hopping?
Yeah, she was last night. And she texted me at 12:17. So I was asleep at that point. But she's just danced in a bar with Linz, who's her like wet engaged friend, whose bachelorette it is. LOL with an extra L in there.
Oh my gosh.
So she's like living her college dreams again.
I was making fun of every bachelorette party I passed. I bet you I passed 5.
You probably passed that, man. Julie,
like, these chickadees.
Look at me, I'm on the bar. I'm crazy.
That's funny.
This is actually not sanitary, but I don't care. Give me a margarita. Oh God! What I don't know what it is about white girls and standing on tables. I don't know what that dream is. It's
I've
only
never wanted to
cool.
stand on the bar.
Yeah, it's only cool when we go to the gay bar. What is it? Flaming Saddles, and the dudes do the dancing. Like obviously, if it was like girls doing it, like that movie Coyote Ugly, I'd be super down too. But like, it's cool in a choreography sense because it's like, wow, that's a very small space, and they're like fucking like spinning around. And I'm not gonna lie, I add extra points to the dudes because obviously they're bigger. So like, it's a fucking small space, and those guys are like, they hire like 6 feet, 200-pound dudes. So, and honestly, it's gonna make pro wrestling sound really gay, but it kind of reminds me of like, a little bit of the athleticism in pro wrestling. It might be silly, but like, you gotta fucking stay on that stool, and there's booze on that stool, there's shit all over that, or on the bar, I mean, and people, spill shit and stuff. You're like dancing around up there, so that's impressive. But seeing like drunk Jenny and her friends up there, like just barely. Just trying to get beer here.
I think that a couple things. One, I don't want people's feet on my bar.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of gross. And two, I guess I don't mind the idea, at Flaming Saddles when they dance the bar, but then there's always that one fruitcake who does like a really dramatic dance sequence, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Like I like when they're all like dancing to the same like
the choreography.
But there's always one guy who does like, I don't know, like a dance routine to like My Heart Will Go On or something like that.
Oh no, you can't do that. That kills the mood, dude.
Just do a little shimmy and keep it moving. Like I'm not looking for art.
Yeah,
I'm looking for like,
agreed.
Like a fun gimmick.
Honestly,
a shtick.
Maybe I'm gonna get shit on by the drag queen community, but I feel like the same applies to drag queens. Sometimes some take the drag shows on a little serious route. And obviously it depends if you're fighting for like trans rights or something, and that's a show benefit from that. You obviously want it to go a little serious for a minute, and then But I don't like when they try to be too artsy. It's like I just want to fucking see you fucking Vogue, bitch, break it down, bitch.
Well, it's the same like
play some awesome shit, dance around.
But like it's the same like when you go to karaoke.
Yeah.
And like we're all singing fun songs, and then one person wants to sing like a ballad that no one knows.
Totally.
What's wrong with you?
Am I a creep? Yeah, you are, and you're ruining the fucking mood, Steve. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, come on.
Whatever happened to girls just want to have
you
fun.
have a right to fight for your right to party.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
I want it that way. Come on.
Just play some. Come on, dude. Yeah, there's always one. There is always one. It's usually because they're like going through like a breakup or something, and they don't want to tell anyone. They're just really sad. Like, no, I'm fine. I'm telling you. It's like, are you okay? Like, really? Like, you sure? No, I'm telling you, I'm fine, you guys. I am gonna play next the karaoke, and I'm gonna kill myself like Marilyn Manson. Totally fine, you guys. Totally fine. Okay. My life is awful. I hate it here. I'll fucking kill myself.
We all have one of those friends.
Fucking, like, come on, dude. But anyways, it is now time to hear from you guys, because we have emails from the listeners. And I shit you not, I legitimately almost, and this is, I don't even know, I'm bragging about this, almost doing something. 2 days ago, I was sitting down and I almost put down an emails from the listener. Tune on track, but it just wasn't ready. I didn't feel it good enough to put it on the show. So not ready yet, you guys, but it will come. It will come. And again, if someone beats me to it, FratChatPodcast@gmail.com. Put it on the show. Give you all the full credit. Like the theme song here, made by our buddy Gaza. You would have known that. Well, we used to plug it like every fucking show. But
I think you were gonna work on a jingle for Spirit Airlines. Now that they went out of business, now it's freed up your time, and I can work on that.
You
On
know,
our
it's crazy.
jingle.
Julie has Spirit Airlines tickets for this trip, and like she's like worried that she's not gonna have a flight tomorrow. So it's like, ooh.
Wait, why did they close down?
Yeah, it's I guess they're gonna do apparently they might protest is the whole thing. So if the protest, no one's gonna be, they're not gonna be working. And then Ron's gonna be free this weekend. Yeah, Ron, call
Hey, I love me some Ron.
Yeah, buddy.
What an adorable little fuck.
Yeah. But
Should I do my email first?
Yes, go on. Hit that shit.
Okay. This one's actually pretty interesting to me. So this is Kyle from Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Colorado.
How else would you say it?
I don't know.
Colorado. Colorado, bro. It's Colorado. Everybody knows. If you're from Colorado, you call it Colorado. It's be stupid.
It's kind of like though, like, you know, if you live in Toronto, you call it Toronto. But if you are visiting, people say Toronto, and they're like,
Toronto.
It's Toronto.
Yeah, it's Colorado, the big C0 state. Everybody knows. Anywho, hit
All
it,
right.
Kyle.
Kyle wrote, "Dear FratChat, I don't feel comfortable asking anyone other than you. So here goes."
It's kind of sweet.
He wrote, "What's a healthy amount of masturbation?"
Oh, what? No. Oh, no. Come on.
He wrote, "I'm beating my meat multiple times a day, and my friends tell me they beat theirs a few times a week at a maximum. Do I have a problem?"
If you have to ask, it usually means yes.
I thought that too.
Right?
I think like masturbation, I'm assuming you're probably looking at porno too, so maybe you like porno a lot. But I feel like masturbation.
Well, you have a good spank bank, you know.
Yeah, but
I like to rotate. You know, I don't want to drain. You know, just look at porn because then you can't fucking function in real life. And I'm not gonna lie, I got some pretty good memories in that old spank bank. It's I had a good life, you know.
Yeah.
Mostly with me, you know. It's just, you know, like you say it, but you know,
I just look in the mirror.
That's right.
So
yeah.
So I think that masturbation and like porno is the same line as like drinking and whatnot. Like if it doesn't affect like work and like your social life, then like who cares? You know what I mean? Like beat your meat.
Those are the words of a functioning alcoholic, you guys. That is exactly what that sounds like. What the fuck, CMO? What kind of advice is that?
Like you're not hurting anybody.
As long as no one notices your crusty ass pants stuck together, it's okay.
Kyle from Denver, Colorado. How many crunchy socks do you have next to your bed at the moment?
I want to know. How many crunchy socks do you have? Because the volume, like, what's a lot here? Like, are you doing it like 6 times a day? So that is a lot.
Kyle, maybe you need a girlfriend. I think if you have a girlfriend, in addition to masturbating 3 times a day, that's not good. I think
it's like a lonely, bored Saturday. You know what I mean? Now, Monday through Friday, should be pretty free. You know, you should be kind of busy. And if you have a lady, hopefully she gives you what you need. Or I don't know, because some people do schedules. And it's like a weekend thing, you know, especially as you get older. Like I don't. I'm on a very lax plan, if you will, on a need to have basis. But like I know older people do, like Wednesday night is sexy time nights. So then what do you do the other 6 days of the week? You know, especially like ones where your wife secretly hates you and is no longer attracted to you, but is afraid to say it. So she just like does it with the lights off and won't face it. She's like, let's just do doggy.
I think I read somewhere that maybe a Men's Health magazine a while back that like if you masturbate like a healthy amount, maybe like every day, then you lower your risk of prostate cancer.
Yeah, we talked about it on the pod.
Oh, is that how I heard it?
That's right.
I'm drunk.
Yeah, that was now that is a question. What is a healthy level of masturbation these
Well,
days?
I think if you say multiple times a day, what does that mean? Because I feel like if you do it in the morning when you wake up as a routine and before you go to bed as a routine, like who cares? But if you're doing it like 10 times a day, like I think that's excessive.
It
Your dick's
says
gonna fall off.
I'm not gonna lie, I asked AI. It says masturbating every day or even multiple times a day is generally considered safe and healthy, provided it does not interfere with daily life, work, or relationships. This is what you said.
I said that's how I look at everything. Yeah, like who cares?
Oh man. So potential benefits. It can help reduce stress, aid in sleep. Okay, this is what we had said and then the study. I remember this. It can help reduce stress, aid in sleep, and for men may even support prostate health, with some studies suggesting 21 times a month is optimal. So that's almost every day.
It's like 5
That's
times
like,
a week.
yeah, if you have your weekly schedules and you're doing it once a week with your significant other, or only getting treats or sexy time or whatever you want to call it, once a week, then that gives you the other 6 days to jerk off by yourself. That is science. That's what science is telling you there, Kyle. So, however, I'm glad we don't know what you guys look like, because sometimes it's a little TMI. Just saying. But I do appreciate you feeling the trust. He didn't feel comfortable.
Kyle,
he was jerking off as he was writing this.
Your right bicep must be huge.
Huge
bicep needs some work.
That's right. So, Kyle, I hope you figure out your life. If you want to write us an update, just make sure you wipe off your keyboard and shoot us an email.
Oh.
FratChat Podcast at gmail.com. Anyways, now we're going to take you to Ashley from Florida. I'm not going to lie, I've been looking out more and more for Florida emails because I do feel like you just see more. It's great. But she goes, "Hey, Frat Chat boys," which I kind of love that, Ashley. I don't know why.
Frat Chat boys?
Yeah, when she called us that.
I'd rather cool. She say Frat Chat men.
That's right. Frat Chat men, brother. What you gonna do? Anyways, she goes, long time listener, first time emotionally scarred caller. So, I need advice because I truly cannot carry this alone anymore. I wish this was some repressed childhood trauma I could unpack in therapy like a normal person. It's not. This happened last week. I'm 29 years old. So, I was visiting my parents for the weekend, staying in my old bedroom like a nostalgic little angel. Actually, I'm going to do that very soon because my high school reunion is coming up in June. So I'm gonna.
Oh, you're going?
I'm going to my 20 year.
Oh wow!
However, I don't have my childhood home in there. I guess my parents have moved, but I have my childhood bed. But anyways,
you have a little race car bed.
That's right. Actually, that's what me and Julie live in here.
That was like my dream as
a kid. I took it with me. It's a single, but you know, what might do.
I've always wanted the race car bed.
I know, man. They're so cool. I'm like kind of jealous of the people that had them. Mm-hmm. But I did have the dream of having bunk beds, and my parents actually got me bunk beds.
Me too.
And we used to have a little teeny tiny house in Florida, actually, Ashley, in Orlando. And it's funny. I had a bunk bed, and my brother had a bunk bed, and we both had separate rooms. And he took his bunk beds down and made them into one massive bed. But mine was, the bottom bed was double, and the top bed was a singles, but they're like a big single. So like when I got too big for the top bed, I just started going to the bottom bed, and it was super awesome.
Did you ever hang a sheet to make it a tent?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Me too.
It was so awesome. That's how I would sleep every night. I would put my comforter up there, and literally my dad would come peeking through in the morning, like, "Hello, wake up." Good times.
My mom
Anyways,
and my dad thought I was in there with like a flashlight, like reading like goosebump books, but I was really just like drawing like butterflies and rainbows and like looking at picture books. I couldn't read.
it's okay. At
Is it?
least, yeah. Ooh.
Anyway, back to hi Ashley from
Ashley,
Florida.
so this happened last week. I'm 21 years old. So she was, staying in her old bedroom like a nostalgic little angel. Saturday morning, I wake up, go downstairs to grab coffee, and because God has a sense of humor, the kitchen was occupied by my fully adult parents doing fully adult activities on the counter. The counter I have eaten off of for decades.
Wait, they were doing it?
They were doing it.
Ew.
I froze. They froze. My mom screamed. My dad yelled my name like I just walked in on a robbery. I backed out like Homer Simpson disappearing into a bush, which is, I love that visual, and went upstairs to reconsider my entire existence. And here's where it gets worse. Since then, my dad keeps making weird jokes. Like at dinner, he'll say things like, "Careful, your mom likes to be hung up in the kitchen," and then laugh at his own joke while I stare at my plate trying to disassociate. I don't know if this is his way of coping or if he thinks we're all just adults now and this is normal, because I am not coping. I am perishing. Do I confront him? Do I pretend it never happened? Do I say it's your house? I love them and I'm happy they're still active, but
Ugh.
I did not consent to this level of knowledge about my parents' marriage. Please help before I have to move to another state. Sincerely traumatized, Ashley from Florida.
You have to move
Wow.
and change your name.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to just get your eyes replaced. Is that a thing? Pretty sure you can do
Yeah.
it. Eye transplants. I'm pretty sure you can, Ashley. Or like maybe go to like a
Hypnosis.
hypnotist,
Yeah.
you know? And they can fucking, because I
Woof
don't know if I
woof.
share this in the pod, but yeah. I don't know if I share this in the pod, but I had a friend, dude, this high school reunion thing just reminded me of, that found a photo album of her parents when they were like dating. And she was like, "Oh, this is so cute." And she's like flipping through it. It was like, you know, first dates, pictures, bullshit, whatever. Parents in the 80s. However, when she gets to the last page, there's like a picture pasted at like the back cover of the album. And to her surprise and her horror, there's a picture of her mom on her knees sucking her dad's dick when they
Ew.
were like younger. So-
Who took the photo?
I think it was like with like a mirror, you know, like old camera like this.
Ew, a Polaroid?
I think it was a Polaroid. I think it was a Polaroid.
Ew. Wow.
Yeah, and she was horrified. I remember she was a really good friend at the time, so she told us like almost like immediately. And I'm not gonna lie, I can understand why her dad was always smiling after that. I'll tell you that much. He was a very happy guy, and now I get it.
Awful.
So I don't know what to tell you, Ashley. That's honestly, I would rather go watch the Republican National Convention and Kid Rock headline it,
Ugh, what a
and then
loser.
when it's over, yell encore, and then have it start all over again, and do that for like 6 days straight with the exact same act, nothing changing. Then watch my parents fuck for 1 second.
Well,
So,
I gotta be honest. Like it's their house, and they're allowed to fuck in their own house.
I get it.
So like I think that there's a lack of like awareness. Maybe there's like a voyeuristic like tendency because you're just asking to get caught. Like why would you do it in a communal space knowing that your kid is home? That's weird.
Yeah.
But I do
Maybe it was the ritual. And the dad's like, hey, I need 21 times to be healthy. Come on, baby.
Maybe. But I think that Ashley is fair for her to be like, listen, guys, like I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do whatever you want to do. You're adults, but like I can't crash here anymore because that was so uncomfortable for me. And I think it's also fair for them to for her to say like you knew I was home and you made a choice to do that in a communal space, knowing that there was a risk that I could see you. And I would hope that you wouldn't want me to see you. Maybe that was the thrill. Either way,
Oh.
respectful, and I'm not crashing anymore. Sorry. Keep doing what you're doing, but like this I can't stay here anymore.
I'll be like, I think we can all agree that I never want to see that again. So can you please, if I'm here, don't fuck in the kitchen. Or I agree. I'm not going to fucking crash here. I don't want to see that shit again. Is this what you do? And please tell me you wipe that counter when you're done. Because if you don't, ugh.
Ashley, was it doggy style or was she like missionary, like up on
Yeah,
the
I do want to know because that's also impressive. Like, how old are your parents?
legs around your mom's legs around the dad, or was she just like bent over with her saggy titties flopped?
Maybe he had her picked up like, you know, like a 69 Tombstone helicopter thing, like, yeah, and he's like spinning around. She's like, fuck me, Marty.
I like jelly on my toast, not KY jelly, Dad. Ew.
You need some frosting for that there toaster strudel because I'm almost done. Daddy, no. Oh God, yeah. Sorry, Ashley. We probably did not help there. I don't know that there's nothing that we can say to help other than, you know, maybe this is a good time to check out a therapist.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, good for your parents. I'm still very impressed. I don't think that my dad could have had, you know, counter sexy time anytime past the time he was like 60 at least. He was a couch dude by then. So I don't know. I don't know how your dad was or how your dad is there, Ashley, but good for him. Good for him. You kind of got to be proud for your boy. So give him that.
Yeah.
Anywho, it is now time for the news. Fuck. Glasses are gone. I can't do the thing. Oh, no, they're not. Yeah. Perfect timing. Thank you. That was for Jeebus. Let me locate those glasses. Right at the perfect time. Now, this news is an update from a recent news update that we gave you on that almost bachelorette contestant there. And man, this story keeps getting crazier and crazier, people. So, a Utah judge just stepped in on the ongoing legal battle between former bachelorette-linked reality star Taylor Frankie Paul and her ex, Dakota Mortensen. And man, that man did not hold back. During the hearing, the judge essentially said that the judge essentially said what everyone on the internet has already been thinking for months, but with legal authority, you know, and less patience. He basically said this relationship is toxic as shit. It's volatile and it's completely dysfunctional. Both Taylor and Dakota were hit with mutual protective orders, meaning they're now legally required to stay away from each other at least about 100 feet apart, depending on enforcement details reported in court coverage. The judge also made it clear that any contact or violation could lead to arrest. What makes this even more chaotic is that both sides showed off with like competing accusations, each claiming abuse from each other. And the court basically acknowledged what it saw as a pattern of escalating conflict between the two, rather than a clean like victim-perpetrator dynamic. So basically, instead of picking a winner, the court response was more like, you are both the problem right now. And even more significant, custody of the young child remains a major sticking point. The judge left the current arrangement in place for now, but emphasized that the environment between the two parents is unstable and not ideal for co-parenting. Now, at one point, the judge reportedly described their relationship in blunt terms, calling it toxic and pointing out that both parties need to break the cycle if there's any hope of stability for their child. So the too long didn't read here. This isn't a he said, she said anymore in the public court of opinion. It's officially a you two cannot be anywhere near each other situation, backed by a judge who seems pretty done watching the spiral. And as always, with Bachelor Nation adjacent drama, what started as a reality TV romance has fully turned into a courtroom cautionary tale. That's the news. That's wild, right?
I think that's good. They shouldn't be near each other.
Yeah,
we should
no.
be done with it. I like
Throwing
that the
chairs
judge
and
is
shit.
pretty much like, I don't want to hear about this anymore.
I know.
You go
Look,
that
literally,
side, you go that
the
side.
judge said,
I'll talk
I
about
don't want
it.
to hear this. Both of you, go to your rooms.
Yeah.
And your room's over there, your room's over there, and you can't, don't come to dinner.
Poor kid, though.
I know.
Did you
Yeah,
know
how
the
do you
parents,
do the kid handoff?
the kid probably hears both parents talk incessantly about the other, which is not healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, at least my parents waited until I was 15 to do it, so less traumatized.
Yeah.
Because that's called good parenting. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Right.
Thank you. That's what I need to tell myself so I don't cry tonight.
Yeah.
These people be cray. And I'm not gonna lie, kind of sad that we didn't get to see her in The Bachelorette or The Bachelorette, because something tells me it should have been good TV.
Well, I wonder,
swinging chairs.
They spent a long time filming and editing. So what happens to all the contestants? I'd be pissed if I thought
but they
that was
got paid to do the show. It's in their contract, so I just don't think. Now, there's no, since it doesn't air, though. I don't know if they'll get reused for another show. Maybe the next Bachelorette will have those same dudes, the same contestants, and then they kind of give me a makeover. But they won't have the opportunity to profit off the season after the fact, by making appearances or getting brand deals on social media or whatever. But they do get paid for their participation, because these are big studios. This is on TV, so that you sign participation agreements that come with a fee, and you usually get paid way before it even airs. And they were doing ads, so for them, they just she's getting paid for it, even though it's her fault that this shit didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's because it's a contractual agreement, and she did all the duties listed in her contract. It technically didn't say don't throw a chair at your husband.
Bro,
the network is the one that chose to end the relationship. So,
but I think they should have a new Bachelorette and have the same guys for round 2.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be nice, especially if they thought they were good enough to be cast the first time. But then, to be fair, maybe not all the guys, because as you watch, when you cast people for this type of thing, you have expectation of they'll perform and then they actually do perform, and you got a chance to watch them do the show. Maybe some of them are great, but maybe some of them are fucking awful and not entertaining, so you cut those guys and replace some other ones, you've got a long-term audition there, So,
I think we learned that you shouldn't fuck with Mormons.
That's true.
That's what we learned from this.
That's very true. Anyways, it's time for not the drag queens, and Spirit is dead officially. Actually, that is not the drag queens, but Julie just texted me. We were just talking about Spirit. She just said she had to book a different flight.
Oh wow!
Spirit is dead. Let me see. Talk shutting down after rescue talks collapse. Spirit Airlines is gone. What free Spirit loyalty point holders need to know about their rewards? What the fuck do you think there is to know? You're beat. Wow. Wow. Spirit Airlines is gone. Breaking update that by the time this comes out, you guys will have known for 3 days. But for us, this is live. Holy shit. Crazy.
You know what?
Dang.
When my best friend passed away years ago, I flew to Chicago for his memorial, and my flight, it was a Spirit flight, was canceled because of a storm, and I got an email from Spirit, and it said, "Hi, this is Charlie from Spirit," and my best friend's name was Charlie, and it took me a while to realize, oh, this is the airline, because I thought
Oh,
they were speaking to me on the grave.
no.
I was like, oh my God.
Charlie, do you see
Can
the
you hear
light
me?
over there? Can you tell me how you are? And the guy's like looking around, like, yeah, I do. I have a light in my office. It's fine, I guess. Charlie. Oh God. But yeah, crazy. Anyways, on to Not the Drag Queens, R.I.P. Spirit. And of course, if we're doing Not the Drag Queens, you know, we gotta hit it. Yeah. Because a Tennessee Christian MAGA musician, Philip Wayne Vaught, has been hit with a staggering 160 count indictment following a lengthy Hendersonville police investigation. Shout out to Right Wing Watch on Instagram for surfing the original post and some receipts that I'll share in a bit. This guy, Philip Wayne Vaught, was arrested on the weekend in Mississippi. He's currently being held on a $1.5 million bond. Now, according to the Sumner County Criminal Court indictment, Vaught faces charges including aggravated rape of a minor, solicitation of sexual exploitation, and unlawful sexual penetration of a minor by someone in a position of trust. He also faces dozens of additional counts tied to the alleged use of a minor in the prostitution of sexual material and possessions of child sexual abuse material. The alleged conduct spans nearly a decade, from 2015 through as recently as January 2026. Vaught, originally from Kentucky and the son of a minister, shocker,
Oh God.
reportedly moved to Tennessee as his music career gained traction in the country rock space. On social media, he has been a vocal supporter of Trump and MAGA-aligned politics. And this is where things get very on brand for the Not the Drag Queens file. Right Wing Watch actually highlighted one of Vaught's public posts where, of course, he wrote, "Join me in praying for a revival in our nation. We sure do need to turn back to Christ." Of course. And he also frequently positioned himself online as part of a moral revival type messaging, the kind that rails against cultural decay, blaming drag queens and shit, while pushing traditional religious values. And clinical experts quoted in the reporting noted that what is tragically common in these cases, delayed disclosure from victims, often due to fear, shame, or not believing they'll be taken seriously. And while this case has not received major national coverage despite Vaught's presence in the country rock scene, critics, it's because no one really likes country music, sorry, dude. Critics point out the predictable media double standard that tends to emerge around cases like this, where ideology, image, and identity often shape how loudly a story is amplified. And there's also the broader cultural irony that people keep circling back to. The louder the public preaching out about saving the children and restoring morality, the more jarring it is when allegations of this magnitude surface with those very circles. Critics argue that these cases often reveal how performative some of that rhetoric can be. Though, as always, each case stands on its own legal footing and allegations must be proven in court. And just like that, another entry in the growing file about the drag queens. And yet further proof, people, that the call is coming from inside the house. Holy fuck.
Always. Can I say, I just Googled what he looks like, and I don't trust anyone with that kind of haircut. When you're that age with that haircut looking like a 90s Devin Sawa or Jonathan Taylor Thomas, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like the who is the Vanderbeek guy from Dawson's Creek? Like
Oh,
that
rest in
haircut.
peace. He just passed.
I know, but that haircut, I think that
Yeah.
like there's a time and place, and it's not when you're in your 50s. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, he looks like a fucking pedophile for sure.
Just looks
It's like
scary.
he's like it's like a wannabe Keith Urban, but it's like, bro, you're way too old. And of course, like it's this guy. You gotta go back to Jesus. I'm pretty sure Jesus didn't diddle kids, dude. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, you ever heard that Shakespeare quote like "Thou doth protest too much"?
Yeah.
Methinks thou doth something like that. I think that like well, people who are like really, really performative with their Christianity, I question it. I just think they're
Always.
all weirdos.
Always. I was just talking in off air to someone about this. And literally I like studied pretty much every religion briefly. And I took a comparative religions class. I read about it, and I don't know, it shit interests me. And I found that really, it all teaches the same shit. And in fact, even though Jesus is not like the guy for Muslims and stuff, he's still a prophet in their eyes. He's just not like the main guy. You know what I mean? They acknowledge Jesus. So there's more commonalities in these religions. There are differences. And at the end of the day, most of them just teach you be good. And obviously, like in Islam, you're made to pray like at any time of the day. But Jesus himself would say, I would rather the person that prays to themselves, doesn't have to go to church every fucking Sunday, whatever, just and actually believes in the prayer, as opposed to the performative asshole in the front row here who is just saying the prayer to look good and then, essentially use it to have power over others. It's like, yeah, this guy gets it.
It makes me think
So,
of like Mike Johnson
yes.
in the House of Representatives or the
Yeah.
Senate. He's Speaker of the House Speaker,
Yeah,
Senate
he's
House
he's
Speaker.
he's Speaker of the House.
He like to me like I think he's probably one of the scariest because he's just so overly performative. I think that
Oh
he
yeah.
and his son are like accountability partners to make sure that they don't watch porn on their
Which is
computer.
so weird because they probably watch it together, and it's
Ugh,
like some
yeah.
weird shit. All right, son, it's time for a monthly daddy son porno. This time we're gonna watch a video of a guy fucking a donkey.
Though I think that I think porn isn't necessarily a bad thing
Oh,
within like I think um if you're not looking at porno, then you're probably getting off on like a random like Macy's catalog.
yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? Or
That's true. Something's doing it. I'd
so
rather do people that are paid to be there and
yeah.
who are having a good time at least. Now there are levels of porn. I watch like the traditional, you know, guy fucking a horse and then fucking a donkey at the same time porn. That's like the normal baseline porn, right?
Yeah.
And then the pig comes in and he's like, wee, wee, right? That's like what the normal person watches, right? That's like,
Gets me off.
and then a bird comes in, like what? It's like I don't know how they can afford all these animals. And hopefully they sign waivers.
I saw this Japanese porn with like tentacles or some shit.
Yeah, I
Tentacle
did watch
porn.
that too.
I was like, okay, I can get
And
down
the
with this.
guy, once they finish it, they chop it up and eat it like sushi. And it's like, what? You guys are wild. Wild for that one.
I'm cool
You don't
with
even
that.
need wasabi. You got it. From
I
Kenji over there. Good
I will
stuff.
say that just speaking of religion, there was someone a while back at like my local bar who was like way too drunk and was talking about Jesus, and he was like he died for your sins, like, and he resurrected. Have you ever heard of a miracle like that? And I was like, yeah, actually, like most religions have a similar story. I was like, in Greek mythology, Apollo had a son that had the power of necromancy, and then Zeus was like, that's dangerous, so he killed him. And then Apollo
Yeah.
was like, Dad, Like, that wasn't nice. Can you resurrect my son? And so this guy who was the son of a god was resurrected a few days later and then sat like on his throne in Mount Olympus. And then they like all like the future hospitals were like in his name. But like, I guess what I'm saying is this like resurrection story, even like Noah's Ark has been like,
Hey, I saw David Blaine get fucking buried for 3 days and brought back.
oh, you did.
So there
That's
you go.
the New Age prophet. I guess my
That's
point,
right.
like, I don't think that people realize unless they do the work that a lot of these stories are just stories that have been like that have evolved over generations from different religions.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
no,
like,
like the Bible was not written by Jesus. It was written by, again, if you go back to history, this is historical fact, a group of dudes, the Council of Nicaea, who sat down and was like, okay, well, we got to write this in the Bible. What goes in it? What's like the approved story, essentially. And, they added a bunch of shit in there. Like after Jesus died, his disciples having like magic offs, essentially miracle offs with people, and Jesus having, these things where one guy levitates and shit. There's a lot of wild stories. It gets pretty crazy. It gets I would say dramatized is the word. Kind of like a book or a comic book or something, just something like that. Like some of the miracles get a little out there, but they all, like I said, it has the point of it's the stories. It's you gotta be. They all have a moral to them. And that's why you're supposed to take out of them. And it's not like the ridiculous things like, oh, you got to stone gay people. No, that's ridiculous. It's stuff deeper in it. And you actually have to practice what you preach on there if you were to understand not to weaponize the Bible against people, because that teaches you the complete opposite. But anyways.
I think I told you that this guy at the bar was like, I think they found the original Noah's Ark. And I was like,
they say that
really,
every fucking year. There's
I was
always
like, you
some
really believe
tabloid
that?
that's like, I think we found it, and they show some like weird looking mountain picture. That's like, come on, you idiots!
It's fucking
so
flat
stupid.
earthers are such a waste.
Yeah, so
We
dumb.
shouldn't have kids. We should just cut off their dicks. They can't reproduce. Gross. They're all gross. Anyway.
God damn. I think flat earthers. I think they might be your least favorite people. I've noticed that.
Yes.
I think they might be like, let's see, like mimes for me. I don't know. I hate mimes.
Oh, really?
They were just so like creepy. I'm miming for those now watching on YouTube. All 4 of you on YouTube. We have thousands of listeners on the other ones. 4 on YouTube. Yeah, mimes kind of freak me out, but I guess I don't really hate them. But flat earthers, every time you speak of them, I can see like the contempt. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not like I like flat earthers. Kind of annoying myself, but it is funny to see just the hate.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, oh man, it is time to get to it, because we have an awesome topic, a fun topic. And so today, we're diving into something that TV has given us in every era, in every format, in every weird corner of pop culture. The greatest nerds in TV history. And we're not talking about just smart characters or the stereotypical glasses and pocket protector vibe. We're talking about the full spectrum of nerds. The obsessives, the overthinkers, the hyper-intellectuals, the pop culture encyclopedias, the social out-of-sync legends who somehow became unforgettable. These are the characters who steal scenes without trying to over-explain everything or take things way too seriously, or are so deep in their own world that everyone else is just kind of catching up. Some of them became icons. Some of them became the heart of their shows. And some of them were just so weirdly committed to the thing that you just couldn't look away. So we're counting down the top 10 greatest nerds in TV history, and trust this one might get controversial, depending on what nerds you love. So, before we get to the top 10, we got to define what the hell a nerd even is, because this isn't just a list of like the smartest people on TV. So if that were the case, we just rank a bunch of scientists and call it a day. And honestly, that's boring. For our purposes, a nerd is less about IQ and more about energy. We're talking about people who are deeply committed to something, sometimes impressively, sometimes embarrassingly. Could be intelligence, sure, but it could also be an obsession with comic books or fantasy worlds or video games, obscure hobbies, niche internet forums, etc. So a nerd in this list usually checks at least one of these boxes. They're super book smart or hyper analytical. They're obsessed with traditionally nerdy stuff like sci-fi, gaming, cosplay, D&D type worlds. They got awkward social skills, and they go way too hard at something that most people only care casually about. And the key is they don't dabble, because nerds don't dabble. They commit. They spiral. They build their entire personality around it. So this just isn't who is the smartest. It's who embodies nerdom the hardest. And with that, let's get into it. All right.
Dum,
So
dum, dum.
I think I should go first because your number one, I think, is the greatest of all time.
Well, I think you should go first, and you should do your honorable mention.
Yeah, that's true. So, honorable mention here. This guy was close. Could have made the list, honestly, almost. One of my favorite nerds out there is my boy Minkus from Boy Meets World.
Who had the same haircut as that guy you talked about in the news?
That's right.
Yeah.
He was a child and not a diddler. See diddler guy in jail? Vaughn, or whatever the fuck your last name was? I already forgot you. Because your music was probably terrible.
Something
too.
Taylor Vaughn. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, Minkus was a super nerd in this show. He looked like a nerd. He was a genius with super intellect and could also crack a joke here and there, which made him really memorable. And for the first 2 seasons, he's like the foil to Corey and Sean, a character that actually had many episodes focus on him. So it was kind of strange that they just kind of had him disappear from the show, which is why he does not make the list, because Minkus disappears early in Boy Meets World. And for a greatest ever list, longevity matters. And, a lot of the characters on this list either carry their shows or evolved over multiple seasons, and Minkus never really got that runway. He did his thing for 2 seasons, then they wrote him off for some reason, then they had him come back very briefly for like a couple episodes when they were like in high school to make like a joke out of like the other side of the school that no one could see or whatever. So, no, I love you, Minkus. I feel like they should have kept you on the show longer. You were hilarious. But, Boy Meets World is one of my favorite shows. So it is hard to beat perfection. But, man, it would have been nice to see you in there longer. So that's why he's an honorable mention. But I'm going to go to now my side of the list. Number 5 on my end is Velma Dinkley from Scooby-Doo.
Jinkies.
Yeah, that's right. The OG detective nerd. Because before forensic shows, before the true crime podcast, or us delving into some awesome true crime stories or uncovering the Epstein files, there was Velma. Glasses, brains, logic, zero patience for nonsense. And she's the one solving the mystery every single time. Like when everyone else is running from ghosts, she's pulling clues together and exposing the guy in the mask, all while also making herself famous for her 2 adorably nerdy catchphrases. See me just in the first one, Jinkies, and my glasses, I can't see without my glasses, which becomes one of the most nerdy trope lines in the Nerdy Urban Dictionary, which is just like Urban Dictionary, but written by virgins. Now, what makes Velma great is her consistency. Like she might just be the only one that ever knows what is actually going on. Like the rest of the gang is totally winging it, and Shaggy and Scooby are clearly fucking high the whole time. Like, you know how high you have to be to get your dog to teach it English? You know what I mean? Like to speak English? Pretty fucking high. But Velma is also a great example of the quiet confidence nerd. She's not flashy, she's not loud, but she's always right. She laid the groundwork for so many nerdy, like, archetypes that came after her that without her, half this list would probably look different. So she has to make the list, and she's been around. The Velma character has been around literally since, like, the 1960s. and they're still rocking with Scooby-Doo shit. So longevity matters.
I bet you she could like spread it wide and lay it low. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's a reason they had Linda Cardellini play her in the movies. You know, Linda Cardellini is a babe, and now she's playing like all these sexy roles. It's like, don't forget that was Velma.
like my mom used to like this show called Gilligan's Island, and there was like Ginger was like the bombshell, but then there was like Marianne, who was like the girl next door, and I think a lot of guys like really went for like the Marianne type. So I think that Velma's
Yeah,
like the Marianne.
God damn. Gilligan. Now I get why it took him fucking 30 seasons to get off the island. Not bad, Gilly. Not bad at all.
Okay, so my first one. Um, so you ever seen the show Criminal Minds?
I have seen an episode, and I told myself I'm going to go back to the show. I'm going to get Julie to watch it with me, and then
It's pretty good. There's a guy named
Good show.
Spencer Reed. I think is so sexy.
Oh,
So Spencer Reed is like the modern TV nerd, whereas he's less comedic and more like awe-inspiring. He has I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a eidetic memory. Like
a dead dick memory? You'll be fixing
it's like
dead
it's
dicks?
it's like maybe it's like photographic memory. He can see things one time and memorize it. So he reads lots
kind
of
of
books.
memory
And he's
does
an
he have?
expert.
Oh, eidetic.
Eidetic.
Cool.
So he has
Yeah.
lots of PhDs, and he's part of like this FBI like unit that catches all these like serial killers.
Unit. Don't
So
love his hair, though. It's kind of like all over the place.
I guess they're trying to make him look nerdy, but he used to be a model, so like it's kind of hard to make like a beautiful guy not beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's
if you
like
gave
trying.
Brad Pitt a bad hairdo, he's still fucking sexy just with a bad
Yeah,
hairdo.
but you can't give Brad Pitt a bad hairdo. Have you ever seen Brad Pitt have a bad hairdo? He's had every hairdo in Hollywood, and he looks great, including a shaved head. Like, you think maybe he has a lumpy head. No, he can shave it, and it looks beautiful there, too.
Let me tell
Long
you,
hair,
Brad
short
Pitt,
hair,
ooh,
part, little in the middle, side part, fucking buzzed, completely bald. He can fucking do it all. Fucking Brad Pitt.
I would suck Brad Pitt until his face caved in. That's how much I am so attracted to him. Okay, so Spencer Reed, he has this like crazy like photographic memory. He has lots of PhDs, and he's able to process information at like a terrifying speed. I think what makes him stand out is that his extreme intelligence is grounded in realism. He's emotionally complex and vulnerable. And he makes nerdiness feel powerful and human. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
he is like maybe one of the like secret weapons of his like FBI unit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he
No,
makes
totally.
it like he's so valuable to the team. So I'm
Totally.
like, okay, like I want to be a nerd too, you know. So
Kind of
anyway,
like a male
think
Velma.
yeah, he's a sexy, sexy nerd.
Yeah, no, I like using nerds for true crime stuff. I'm always a fan. I don't know why. I feel like you need that person. Like Batman, for example, has his nerd. And she used to be Batgirl, but then Joker shoots her in the spine, so she's confined to a wheelchair. But she's got her little glasses, and she's called Oracle, and she can like hack into anything. Everybody needs a good nerd in their life. Take care of some shit. So Spencer Reed sounds like that nerd, and I have a pretty good memory, but I wish I had that eidetic / photographic memory. That
My
sounds
memory's
bad.
fading. I drink too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's pretty good. I remember like things back to like ages where most people don't remember shit, like 2 or 3 years old, which is pretty cool. But if I had photographic memory, like man, acting scripts, for example, now that I'm doing a lot, of acting stuff, like that's like the most consuming part. You're sitting there learning your goddamn lines. If I could just look at a script and be like, done, that would fucking be
Yeah.
so awesome. And then you just spend the rest of the time working on like how I'm gonna actually act. So that's what I would use it for.
You know what? There's this guy in my middle school. His name was Brooks. He was so smart. And whenever we had a crossword, no, I'm sorry, a word find. Do you know what I mean? Like you would
Yeah.
circle the words like in this like page of like jumbled letters. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
He was always finished like that, and I was like, wow, that's such a talent.
That is so dope.
You
That
know.
is so dope.
Anyway,
Genius.
who's next on your list?
Anyways, up next, I'm gonna keep it in the cartoon world. Even though Velma has been both human and cartoon, so I guess she's a little both. But I'm going to take you to Lisa Simpson, another nerd with a lot of longevity. And Lisa, obviously from The Simpsons, is the intellectual nerd with a conscience. She's like the smartest person in Springfield by a mile. She's into jazz, philosophy, politics, science, you name it. But unlike a lot of nerd characters, her intelligence comes with emotional awareness. Like her struggle isn't just I'm smart and awkward. It's I'm smart in a world that doesn't value it. And that's what makes her hit with me. She's constantly frustrated by ignorance. She's misunderstood by her peers and even isolated from her own family at times, which is low key one of the most relatable characters in The Simpsons, especially for me. Especially every time I like try to watch Simo read, I'm like, take me, Lord. I get it's Lisa. I get it. But Lisa never dials it down. She doesn't try to be less nerdy to fit in. If anything, she leans harder into her nerdiness. And the one episode where she tried to be someone else to be cool, she got foiled by Bart. And the message of the episode was literally that she should have just been herself and the people would have liked her anyways. So she represents the nerd who stands on her principle, the one who would rather be right, thoughtful and curious than popular. And that's why, to me, she's one of the most respected characters in TV history. And low-key, Lisa she has her very funny moments in the show, but she's a great, like, what they call a straight person in comedy. She balances out the wackiness from other characters so well by being so, like, straight laced at it that it makes the scene funnier by the contrast of what's going on, by the energies, like her relationship with Homer, her relationship with Bart, even, or characters like Ralph, who's in her grade, and like we'll say, that's right, like I wet myself, and Lisa's just standing there. She's one of the reasons why it all works so well. And
I choose you.
Yeah, that episode.
Hey-o.
I'm not glad that episode made me cry. But even Lisa fucks up sometimes, and it's great to see her lean into that when she's like she needs to be right to prove that she's the good girl, but then she'll end up like doing bad things just to stay in good graces, and then she realizes she's a Simpson many times as well. So I love Lisa. I think she's actually a very underrated character in the show, but it's hard when pretty much every character on that show is a fucking hit.
Who do you think is better at the saxophone, Lisa Simpson or Bill Clinton?
Oh, well, to be fair, Lisa can probably play more songs, but Bill Clinton can play it by using a vagina. So he just like puts it in there. So pretty impressive. Just saying. Anyways, who you got next?
Next up, I have Ross Geller from Friends.
Oh, good pick, dude.
I think he's like the most realistic nerd that I have on my list.
And he's one that if you called him a nerd, he'd be like, me? A nerd? No way. But he's like the total nerd who wants to like he's the guy who was like a total nerd in high school, but like he moved, for example, and then completely like changes everything about himself to like be cool and just ditch his old life. You know what I mean? Like the leather pants episode. That is that guy. You know what I mean? That is a guy who was a total nerd in high school. It's like, I need to be cool now. But he would never admit to being a nerd. But he's a paleontologist. But yeah, go on.
Remember when he went to get a spray tan and he didn't turn around?
Don't turn around.
So he's super educated and very passionate about paleontology and deeply invested in being taken seriously. Like it upsets him that other people don't appreciate science as much as he does, you know?
Totally.
But his biggest flaw is that he overanalyzes everything, especially relationships. I thought we were on a break, which makes him both relatable and frustrating, you know? So I think he stands out because he's grounded, believable, intellectual career. He's emotionally driven, sometimes to a fault, and his nerdiness is tied to insecurity and validation.
Yeah, I agree. And he is so analytical. But I'm not going to lie. I am on his side that they were on a break. I have been on a break, and I have hooked up with someone while on a break. And it's funny because I hadn't seen the Friends episode at the time. But I remember being like, dude, we were on a break. You specifically, and I didn't call the break. It was my high school girlfriend at the time called the break because I think she wanted to go probably test the waters. But the waters went better for me than for her. So then she got all mad.
I can relate to that.
You know? Yeah, exactly. You've been there. You've been there pretty recently.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I came back with buckets of fish. She came back with crabs. No, but she didn't really get that. She got nothing. So then the jealousy comes into play, and that's this whole thing. So I was a bitch. You called the break. We were on a break, so I get the break thing. But yeah, Ross is such a he refused to admit he's a nerd, which I love him for it. Like I know he would refuse, but he's so quirky. He's just perfect. Yeah, I'm glad that you picked him for this list. Good shit. Anywho, on to the next one. So I'm going to take you to a show I love as well, Community. And this is Abed Nadir, who is a different kind of nerd. He's like a meta nerd. You know, he's not just into pop culture. He like understands the structure of it. This is a guy who sees life as like TV episodes or seasons or character arcs. He doesn't just watch TV. He lives inside the logic of TV. And what makes Abed great is that his nerdiness is actually how he processes the world. Like it's not just a hobby. It's literally like his language or his entire thought process. When things get emotional or confusing, he retreats into references or tropes and genre logic. And that's what separates him. He defines what a nerd can be. He's not just obsessed with content. He uses it as a framework to understand reality itself. Like Star Trek and shit, you know. It's not trivia. It's not just fandom. It's perspective. And the show leans into it hard. Like in Community, there's entire episodes that revolve around his perspective. Like Stop Motion Christmas, where they literally doing a whole episode like stop motion, you know, like the fucking claymation stuff. Documentary parodies, alternate timelines. You know, he's not just a nerd character. He bends the show around his nerdiness. And you love him because he's honest and loyal, but you get frustrated because he can get detached. But at the end of the day, Abed proves that something is very important. Nerds don't just consume culture. They can literally reframe reality through it. So for that, I salute you.
Good I've never seen Community.
Oh, it's good, dude. It sucks that they all hated working with Chevy Chase because apparently he was an asshole. But he's in it. And he's very good. Joel McHale is in it, and he's very good. Abed is obviously fantastic. Danny Glover is in it. No, not Danny. Donald Glover. Sorry. Danny Glover is too old for this shit. Donald Glover is Childish Gambino. And I'm forgetting other people, but it's got a stacked cast. It's super funny. It's basically like they all like have to go to community college for whatever reason. Like this guy, Joel McHale, I think he faked like going through college so he could work in a law firm or something like that. I forget exactly what job he had, but since he didn't have a degree, he wasn't qualified to have it. So this comes out and he's forced to go to community college, and he like meets these people, and you know they're all totally different, but they kind of like learn to work together and shit, and then eventually they become friends. But it's hilarious and a great cast. Definitely worth the watch if you haven't seen it. I don't know where can you watch Community these days. Okay.
Maybe on a plane.
Yeah.
But guess which plane I won't be watching it on? Spirit.
Yeah, it's on Hulu, Disney Plus. It's on Peacock and Amazon Prime Video. So you got plenty of options. And it's only 6 seasons, so it's actually like you can fly through it. But yeah, wow, it's got 88% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is really high. 94% rating on Just Watch as well, which is super high. So the critics, everybody agrees. The listeners agreed. Everybody agrees. So check it out. Anyways, what you got next?
Next up, I have Dwight from The Office.
Nice. I'm glad you picked them.
So Dwight is what happens when nerdiness becomes intensity. So he's obsessed with rules and hierarchy and survival skills and like a lot of obscure knowledge. So he treats everything from sales to office safety drills as life or death. Mm-hmm. So unlike other nerds, Dwight's confidence is unshakable, even when he's completely wrong.
Yep.
So I think he stands out to me because he's got hyper-specific knowledge, whether it's about beats or bears or
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. He has an absolute commitment to his worldview. And he turns nerd traits into dominance instead of insecurity.
Yes.
He's a bad bitch.
Yes, he is. Like there's an episode where I think it's Roy comes in about to punch Jim, and Dwight, who knows like karate, stands in the middle of it and, you know, disarms Roy and fucks him up. And Jim is like, holy shit, Dwight, you saved me, you know? And Dwight's a total badass. So there's also another episode where he's not so badass when he's fighting Michael, but they play with that as needed for comedy. But yeah, Dwight he's just great because at first you want to hate him so much, but as they start revealing layers about him, you start realizing that he's just one of the best characters on that show, and you fall in love with just how fucking annoying he is. Yeah, he is a great nerd in a totally different way. Like he's another one that if you told him he was a nerd, he'd be like, I'm not a nerd. I know karate. I know how to defend myself against a bear. Do you know how to do that? You know, like I know everything there is to know about Battlestar Galactica. That is a pretty cool show. Do you know? And it's like, yeah, that you're just proving my point, dude. It's like, shut up. So I love Dwight. Very happy you put him on here. Good shit.
I love him. He's brilliant.
Yep. All right, on to the next one. Okay, now my number 2. That was almost my number 1. This one was tough. This one was very tough because I thought CMO's number 1 is the number 1 on the list. But I thought these two were fighting for a close number 2. And you'll see. But for number 2, on my end, I settled with Samuel Screech Powers from Saved by the Bell. Because if you grew up in the 90s, and we even did an episode recently with Julie hosting, you know, when SEMA was away, rewatching.
All right, because I'm right. Saved by the
We rewatched Saved by the Bell, and it still holds up, damn it, as voted upon us on the show. So if you grew up in the 90s, Screech isn't just a nerd, he's the nerd. This is one of the most like instantly recognizable archetypes in TV history. The voice, the hair, the outfits, the way he somehow always said the wrong thing at the worst possible time. Screech didn't just fit the nerd mold, he helped define it for a generation. And what makes Screech such a strong pick for this list is commitment to the bit. Like, there's no version of Screech that tries to be cool. There's no glow up arc. There's no hidden swagger. No, wait, he's actually smooth now moment. He's 100% locked into being awkward, overeager, and just like slightly out of sync with reality at all times. And that consistency is kind of impressive. He basically checks every box of your nerd definition. Socially, he's a disaster. He constantly misreads situation. He overshares and he tries way too hard to fit in with Zach and the crew. Obsession-wise, he's all in. Whether it's his crush on Lisa or some random science project or just the idea of being accepted by the group. And intelligence-wise, he's got flashes. Like, he's not framed as a genius, but he's clearly the smart one in certain situations, especially when it comes to gadgets or random knowledge. But what really defines Screech in this role is his role in the ecosystem of the show. In a world full of cool kids, with Zach's confidence, Slater's swagger, Kelly's popularity, Screech is like the permanent outsider who never leaves the group. And that actually makes him memorable. He's not off in the corner doing his own nerd thing. He's right there trying to hang, constantly taking L's, and somehow still showing up the next day like nothing happened. Now, let's be real, he's also a caricature. Like a lot of the jokes at his expense.
He's also dead.
Yeah. Oh, no, CMO. So say RIP of the end. Good Lord. He's a caricature. A lot of the jokes at his expense get a little repetitive, and he's often the punchline rather than the driver of the story. And he rarely even gets those nerd wins where everything pays off compared to more modern. But compared to modern nerd characters, he doesn't have a ton of depth or evolution. But it almost works in his favor. We're talking about legacy. He is just the guy that represents a very specific era of TV where nerds were exaggerated, awkward, and usually the butt of the joke, but still lovable. So I love him. I feel like you end up rooting for Screech. He's not the most complex nerd. He's not the smartest. He's not the most dynamic. But as a cultural icon of nerddom, especially in the 90s, I think he's first ballot. So got to put him up high on the list. It's my boy Screech. Yes, now R.I.P. Screech. Holy shit, CMO.
I think my hair looks like his today.
Yeah, you kind of do. Now, honestly, today is like kind of gloomy out here. It might be a good day to watch a little Saved by the Bell, especially when we're recording this.
It's all right, because I'm saved by the bell.
I'm not gymming today because I am so sore. A little Saved by the Bell could be.
Because I'm saved by the bell.
Could be in the books. But yeah, what do you think about our boy Screech? Were you a Screech fan?
I always thought he was so gross and weird. I went back and forth between AC Slater and Zach.
Yeah, they were so cool.
They were so hot.
I was more of a Zach fan. It's funny because I would be more like Slater than Zach, in hindsight. But I always wanted Zach to win in the feud. They were always like, they were buddies, but they were competitive, and they were always feuding over Kelly and shit. I always wanted Zach to win. I just thought he was so goddamn cool.
Jesse proved to be the hottest one because remember Showgirls?
The movie that was supposed to make her a megastar, and it still kind of took her career with her.
I actually think she was good in it. Like, I don't understand why she didn't.
I like that movie. And there's the Demi Moore movie, Striptease, which is very similar, but it's different because she's like a cop. But it's like, that movie did really well. And then Showgirls, not so much. So I don't know.
Gina Gershon was in that too.
Yeah. And Jessie looked good. And I'm not gonna, she still looks pretty good now. But in Showgirls, I remember watching that shit as a kid and being like, "Holy!"
When she had sex with a guy in the pool, I was like, oh, "I've never seen anything like this before."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Something tells me that wasn't acting. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
There was no intimacy coordinator there. I'll tell you that much.
her Versace dress.
Uh-huh. Speaking of which, for total research purposes, while Julie's away, I might watch
Showgirls,
just to see if it holds up. you know.
And just for research, you might need a box of Kleenex and some lotion
That's right.
to help you with your
I'll
research.
just take this handkerchief with me for research purposes, and I'm just gonna recline here, this chair here. But again, totally for research purposes. And
Hey, I'm researching right now.
wow, he's really researching hard, you guys.
Okay, so my next one is Carlton Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Nice.
He kind of started off not as such a nerd, but as just a very
Preppy,
preppy, pretentious snob, a rich kid, and then he kind of morphed into like a mega nerd like, over this.
So here's my theory on that, and it's kind of how you present him. Like when you first meet him, you know, it's like he's the guy that to his dad and to the family he would pretend that he's like the cool guy and that everything's awesome, everyone loves him, but it's because no one knows his life in school. You know what I mean? So same thing with Will. Like when Will first meets him, it's like you see Carlton, he has it all together. He's smart, handsome guy even. Sure, he's short, whatever, but like, you know, whatever. It's not until like they go to school that Will starts actually seeing the dynamic of Carlton's life where he's like, oh shit, you're kind of a nerd, dude. You know? And so, and he's one of those kind of like Ross. The more he tries to prove that he's not a nerd, the nerdier he gets. You know what I mean? But I love me some Carlton.
Yeah, I think that he's like the nerd that people underestimate.
Yep.
So he's not like a lab coat genius, but he is disciplined, academically driven, and like deeply traditional. So his nerdiness comes from his love of structure, rules, and intellectual validation. And yes, his dancing somehow makes him more of a nerd and not less.
Tom Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Not unusual to be loved by anyone.
So why does he stand out for me? It's because he represents ambition and academic excellence, socially aware but rigid and often out of touch culturally. And he balances humor with surprisingly deep identity struggles.
Yeah.
So that was my number 2.
Yeah, I love me some Carlton.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of episodes where he is such a nerd and just hilariously so. So that's another show that really holds up. Me and Julie actually were like halfway through and then we put it down, but we gotta finish it through. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the OG, is still fucking hilarious. And yeah, if you've never watched that show, do yourself a favor, check it out. I think it's on Max these days, or HBO Max, or whatever they changed their name to now. Anywho, on to the next one. We each have one left.
Mm-hmm.
And so mine, even though it's number 1 on my side, I'm going to agree that he is the number 2 on this list because I think CMO's number 1 is the nerd, the greatest nerd in TV history. So I'm going to go with number 2. I'm going to go with Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. And I got to say, I was never a huge fan of the show, but I got to call the spade a spade. Sheldon might be like the most textbook definition of a nerd on this list. Genius level intellect? Check. Zero social awareness? Check. Obsessed with sci-fi routines and hyper-specific rules? Big check. Sheldon is rigid. He lives by contract, schedules, and logic. He struggles with sarcasm, emotions, and basically any human interaction that isn't structure. But what makes him great and controversial is how far the show leans into him. Like for some people, he is hilarious. For others like me, he's absolutely fucking exhausting. But you can't deny the impact. Sheldon made nerd culture hyper visible in mainstream TV. Comic-Cons, physics jokes, gaming references, all of it became part of prime time because characters like him. He's not subtle. He's not evolving quickly. But as a pure, concentrated dose of just pure nerd energy, he's elite. So if CMO's number 1 wasn't number 1, this guy could be the greatest nerd in history. But again, he has to go to number 2. Total but number one on my side.
So young Sheldon is the same guy, just younger.
No, Young Sheldon, it's a prequel show, so they have a kid actor playing him. And I think
That's what I
maybe
mean,
Sheldon
but it's-
narrates it. I've seen a couple episodes and I can't remember if he narrates or not, but it's the same character that Sheldon grows up to be. But it's like a kid. And it's filmed differently.
I've never watched Big Bang Theory either.
It's pretty good. Like,
Cheesy.
I mean, if you love that show, you love the shit out of it. It's one of those where the most, honestly, like if I'm in a long flight, for example, is where I watched it the most, like California flight, shit like that. Watch a movie and then kill the rest of the time watching like a few Big Bang episodes. And that's how I've gotten through some of the episodes I've gotten through. It's not a show that I ever like sought out or searched for. It's like I just happened to check it out. And I mean, it's a fine show. Don't get me wrong. Kaylee Cuoco, super hot and talented. The cast is funny. They have a great dynamic, but it's just, for me, it just was not my cup of tea. I get if you like it, it just was not for me.
And then isn't that girl that played Blossom, isn't she in the show now?
Ooh, I don't remember it. Let's see, Blossom actress. The main girl that played Blossom?
Yeah.
Mayim Bialik, Big Bang Theory. Let's see. Oh shit, that's her. She was in it. Oh my god. Crazy.
They have a lot of talent in that show that came from like big 90s sitcoms. Like the guy that played David and Roseanne is in it.
Yeah. Yeah, they really did. It's
like
kind of
all of our favorite shows collided into one.
Yeah, it's cool. It's honestly kind of cool. It's kind of like Friends. Like you don't realize how many people have gone through that show. And same thing with Seinfeld, but Friends was a really good example because you see, obviously Paul Rudd became a recurring character, but you see like Jane Lynch in there having cameos. You see like so many people have cameos.
Remember Danny DeVito's striptease?
Right, that was a great one. Or Robin Williams with Billy Crystal in the rest at the coffee shop. And like the friends can't help but listening to their conversation. It gets even more and more ridiculous as it goes. And the crazy thing is that was a one taker, and Robin Williams and Billy Crystal were improvising the whole time while friends were like listening. So it was like literally like a live reaction of them just fucking around. And so many on. So we could literally do like a whole episode on top 10 Friends cameos, for God's sakes. But yeah, this show is very similar. And that's when you know it's a show that affects pop culture in a deep way. When you have so many stars that want to be in it, or the network can afford them, because that means it's doing something right,
Yeah.
But anyways, now it's time for the number one nerd. Take it away, Mr. Mo.
My number one nerd is Carlos Garcia.
Hey! Finally, a list that I can top.
So my number one obviously is Steve Urkel from Family Matters.
Did I do that?
But he isn't just smart, he's cartoonishly brilliant.
Yes.
So he builds machines that defy logic. He clones himself. He transforms personalities and basically operates on comic book science.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he is like wildly intelligent but completely clueless socially, which makes him kind of endearing. The like you said, that did I do that energy turned him into a cultural phenomenon. So I think that he kind of accidentally hijacked the show because of his popularity. He was just like a secondary character.
I was just about to say, he wasn't even in the first season. He was supposed to just be like a one-off, but he did so good that then the show became all about him. It's just crazy.
His love for Laura. So I think he stands out because of his genius level inventor, skills in a sitcom world, and also the zero social awareness, which I think really drives the comedy. I don't think that he was so annoying, but he just couldn't read the room. Like Carl Winslow couldn't stand him. They actually ended up having
so funny though. I know he was annoying, but like I couldn't help same thing with my dad. Like, I remember he would just come on the screen and he would like make faces or like pull his suspenders or kind of lean back, and you just couldn't help but laugh. He was so funny, and he was that character to such a good degree where it wasn't just like the things he said, it was the whole body language and mannerisms. Like, it honestly is like a master class in comedy watching that guy move, because it's everything. It's every body movement. And the thing is, he was a kid too when he first started doing the role. And note, he still pops into it. Like, he has a weed line now as Urkel.
I was gonna say, yeah. You know, it's interesting. Like, I can't imagine him in any other like role though.
Yeah, and but here's the thing: he was convincing enough to then do the Stefan. Remember his handsome, cool alter ego, and that was believable too. So the actor had plenty of range, but we just loved him so much as Urkel. It kind of pigeonholed him because it stereotyped him into that role. But God, that was such like he honestly, in my opinion, kind of had like, and this is gonna sound funny because it's for different skills, but he had like Michael Jackson level body control. He just didn't use it for dancing; he used it for comedy. But the way that he could like move every little muscle in his body in such a like comedic way,
the Urkel, remember that?
Yeah, he was just utterly fantastic, and it's a character. I remember Urkel popping up in Full House. Even remember that?
Yeah,
it's like he like action. Really, and he got spoofed on The Simpsons. He got spoofed on every other show ever too. So he is a character that had the world by his fingertips. And even as a young boy who at the time didn't even fully know English, coming to see America for vacation, I would catch him on TV. And I didn't even know half the shit he was saying at the time, but I thought he was fucking hilarious. So
I think that he might have been in Dreamgirls, I think.
Really?
Like a small role, but I also think people don't know this, but when I was younger, one of my favorite video games was Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think he voiced Sonic.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's the voice of Sonic.
Wow.
Not in the video games, but like in the movie.
Yeah. Wow. That's very cool. Let me see. Did Urkel? Yes, Jaleel White was the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog in an animated series during the 90s. And I used to love that animated series. Wow. I had no idea. Very cool. So yeah, Urkel, you're number one, man. Undisputed. Greatest nerd in TV history.
Remember when he was Bruce Wee?
Oh, God. Yeah, he was just great, dude. He was just great.
No, I forget though that show was based in Chicago.
Oh yeah. The dad is a Chicago PD.
Yeah, and they show the Chicago skyline before every like the opening credits.
They have a pretty good episode about police being racist. You know, where Carl even has to face it because he doesn't believe that the department was being racist towards his son until then they're racist and he catches it. And he's like, motherfuckers. So they had a really good episode on that.
I remember Harriet's sister, was it Aunt Rachel?
Mm-hmm.
She was such a babe, and she like left the show. I was like, why would she leave such a great show?
Yeah, whenever it was money.
Yeah, and then remember the sister just like disappeared. They wrote her off.
Yeah, why did they write her off?
She did for like 2 seasons. They just wrote her off.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Boy Meets World. The little sister the little girl left the show, so then they waited like a couple seasons to recast her older, and so then they made the joke like they sent her to her room and she was in there for a long time to like explain it. But yeah, it was like 3 seasons with that little sister, and then one day, new actress. It's like, wow, you must have been in your room for a long time. You know, it's like
I will say though, so in Family Matters, they recast the mom, and I was like, why would they do that? Because I like the original mom the most. And then also, Freshman's Bel-Air, they recast the mom, and then they did the same thing in Family Matters. They recast the mom in later seasons. And I was like, what? Didn't we learn from that in Freshman's Bel-Air?
Wow. I don't think I remember the episodes with the new mom. Wow, that's shitty.
The last season got very like science fiction-y.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely never saw the episodes without the OG mom. I'm going to go back to that show. I'm sure it's there somewhere. Yeah.
Well,
Fuck.
that's our list.
That's our list, you guys. So, let us know. Do you agree with a list of the top 10 greatest nerds in TV history? At least for now. Maybe in 20 years, the list will change. So maybe we'll revisit this topic when CMO is 83. So, let us know what you thought of the list. Shoot us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. And also, ask us any questions, anything from emails from the listeners, any topics you want to suggest. Do so, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also give us a follow on all social channels at FratChat Podcast. That's on Instagram. That's on Threads. That's on YouTube. That's on Facebook, Twitter/X. Make sure you give us 5 stars wherever you're listening to, or 5 thumbs up, whatever the hell they do. It tells you that we're awesome. Do it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, wherever you listen to. 5 stars, please. Leave us through your reviews. Also, make sure you give us a follow. Check me out at Carlos Does the World on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Threads, on Facebook, Carlos Does World on Twitter/X. And last but not least, make sure you check out my buddy Seema over here at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram, on TikTok at cmorecomedy, on Twitter/X. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mr. Mo, it is time for us to roll. So why don't you please get us out of here?
I motion to adjourn this meeting so that I can get my life together.
So you can get out of bed. Oh, yeah. All right, you guys. We'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts and time. It's the FratChat Podcast. I'll see ya.
Bye.